Hey, Jonna, this is Rob Cesternino and Brian Cohen from RHAP. Jonna, sorry to see you go out of
I
the challenge.
know.
Can you talk a little bit about how you ultimately ended up in this situation with casting the vote against Michele at the first vote?
What are you asking? Why did I vote in Michele?
Yes.
I think that's the biggest question of the day is what were you thinking, right? Um, so let me just set this up for you. So I got thrown into a game, right, where first things right off the bat, 18 to 6. 18 people, the one goal they had in common was we need to get these 6 people out immediately. Not only that, rode in on a jet ski, crashed the party. They hated that. I was first round draft pick for the second time. So the target just kept getting bigger and bigger, right? And then TJ's like, hey, let's just, make everybody carry a giant statue of you up the mountain. Like, I'm like,
Hmm.
if people didn't already hate me, this is like the best way to make them hate me more, right?
You deserve the
Um,
statue, though, Jonna. You deserve the statue.
thank you. So right, basically what I'm trying to say is from the jump, I knew my back was against the wall. Like I knew that this game specifically was going to be an uphill battle, no matter what I did. I was outnumbered. So I was trying to figure out, I mean, this is still early in the game, right? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what TJ's going to throw at us. We don't know anything. Okay. So I was trying to work with what I had. And I'm like, I've never done a secret vote before. They told me it was a secret vote. Lies. TJ's a liar. I just need to like anything he says, I just need to be like, that's actually not what's happening. What he did was he brought in a jumbotron into elimination. But anyways, so for me, I was trying to use my vote, thinking that it was going to be 100% secret and no one would ever find out. I was trying to use my vote to better myself in the game. I'm a strategic player and I try to navigate things. And the best way I can put it, I've said this before, but is I was basically playing a game of chess while everybody else was playing checkers. Like everybody was still in the beginning stages of like, okay, it's red team versus blue team versus green team. I was like, no, this is Big Brother versus Survivor versus Amazing Race versus people who have been on both the challenge and other shows. And I was like, and also this isn't a team game. This is an individual game. Like I've
Right.
never competed with the team mindset before. There's only gonna be one male, one female winner. So I was like, I know some point down the road, like, maybe they're gonna break us up. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I basically looked at like everybody's connections, who they knew in the house, who they've played with before, what show they were from. And for me, I wasn't thinking of the red team. I was thinking like strategically, how do I better Jonna's game, And some of the people that I was connected to, Michele was also connected to. The assets that I bring to a team, she also has very similar aspects. She's very smart. She won her season of Survivor. She's only female winner there. And I just figured being aligned with some of the Big Brother people, the only thing that I can do, like as I'm paddling uphill without a paddle or whatever that saying is somehow try to create a crack in the survivors, because I knew that silently the 7 of them like were a force to be reckoned with, and the one person in the middle of that holding them together but that also had challenge alliances was Michele.
Right.
So Michele is so smart, as we see, like, second episode, she convinced a group of people, hey, yeah, let's get one of the vets out. And I laughed out loud watching that because I was like, aren't you a vet? Like, you know what I mean? Kind of, you're not one of the 6 that got brought in, but you also have relationships with other people in the house because you've done challenge seasons before. But she's so smart. She got people to do what she wanted them to do without having to do it herself.
Right.
And game recognizes game from the jump, from just meeting Michele and being around her and everything. Like I hadn't seen her Survivor season, but from the jump, I knew that she was just as lethal of a player as I was. And so if I had any chance to get someone out, like that was my best shot. That would a big move that I was taking a risk that later on would help me down the road. So I know it doesn't come across like that on the show. It just looks like I'm a sneaky snake that backstabs my team. But I was thinking 6 steps ahead when,
Right.
I feel like people make that mistake in Survivor. They're like, how can I better my game? but then you have to make it there in order for it to work out, So yeah, that was
how surprised were you and everyone else really that after the first hopper pulls out, it's a girls elimination? Typically in these types of shows where it's girls elimination, guys elimination, was the assumption being the next time it was just going to be a men's elimination?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because that was so in the house. We don't know anything that's happening. That was the assumption. Like we thought, like, and that was another factor. I was like, okay, well, if this time it is a girls elimination, then maybe next time it'll be a guys elimination. That buys me one more week in the house. So while everybody was sitting there and saying like, oh, let's all vote a girl in, or, oh, let's do this. Everybody had their own reasons of who they thought should go in. That was one of the factors. We had no idea that it was going to be genderless, like that it would be anybody could go in at any time. It just depends on whatever the hopper spits out. I'm sorry, the hopper, like, it kills me.
You don't like it?
Like, oh my God. No, okay, so I love it, right? Because of how random it is. So back in the day, like, I used to hate coming into games where you'd have like the bananas, the different people who basically the game was already set in stone, and being a rookie or whatever, not being aligned with these people, I had no chance. So I love things that are like completely random, and it's like everybody has to be on their toes. Now, I would prefer something more similar to USA 1, where it's the randomness is, oh, you get a random partner. That'd be great for somebody like me, because then people would be like, oh, let's keep Jonna here because she's a good partner, Random eliminations, like, no, I hate it. But I will say, now that I am eliminated out of the game and not there and being stressed out by it, I am very excited to watch what happens.
Jonna, your journey on this show is honestly one of my favorites, going back from where you left the challenge proper, like I call it, Challenge MTV, to now two-time champion. I think really three-time champion, because you're the top female challenge one. So how have you had to like adjust your mindset kind of going into a season where a few years ago you're like the underdog, no one's really thinking, oh, Jonna, we got to worry about her. How do you now going in, you're like, as you said, you're the first overall draft pick. How do you change the way you're playing now that you're like the hunted?
Well, let me just say, I wish we would have had this conversation before going to this show. And I would have been like, aha, that's smart. I'm still getting used to the whole target thing. Like before, like you said, anytime I've played before, and this is probably one of the reasons why I won season 3, to be honest, is like, I was so under the radar. Everybody saw me. They're like, oh, she's nice. She's cool. Like, we don't have to worry about her. Well, that is no longer the case. I can no longer hide behind that. I'm actually kind of hoping maybe I should stop telling people why I voted Michele in for real, because I want people to think it was just a dumb decision.
Well, you're just helping. You're the second boot now. You're not that good. You're out second.
Yeah, I'm terrible, about you guys.
Yeah.
So, so I will say, before, if I do another season, I need to figure out how to navigate it. But
what do you mean if? TJ said we will see you back.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the time of my life, right? But yeah, if when I go back, I need to take that more into consideration. But let me tell you, this season of the Challenge USA was not the time to test that theory of how do I navigate being a target, because there was no way to hide behind anything this time.
Yeah. Okay.
It was very pushed into the spotlight.
Jonna, I know you have a lot of press to do today, so thank you so much for making some time to talk with us. Sad to see you go, and this was really great to talk to you.
Yes. Great meeting you, Jonna.
All right. Take care.
I'm sad to go, but I'm excited to watch it now. So
thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.